before, and uh, on uh, on economic data and everything. And so trying to find speakers, I figure if I'm having those same questions, our owners and investors do as well. So all of the speakers are kind of based on questions I have or concerns that I'm hearing from our owners as we go through the year. Um, and that's kind of how we build it. And I'm excited for this year's. We've got a few things we haven't had before. The big one is SUU. We know student housing was took an interesting turn this year. So being able to have Jared in to discuss kind of SUU's growth plans. We know nationwide there's a lot of concerns with student housing. It's things that they're going to be looking to combat. Just pure demographic issues with student housing. Weston's one of my favorite people in the world, so him being able to give a national economic snapshot as regards to housing is going to be huge. Kyle, I know some of you guys and ladies are still looking to buy despite the interest rates, and so having him being able to hop on and discuss some of the loan programs and stuff they have and options they have. Each year, I always like to bring on a nonprofit to talk that we've worked with. One of the things that I never fully realized when I started Netgain almost 9 years ago was that we were going to be on the front line of a whole bunch of social issues and learning how to adapt and work with those. So with Adam and Amanda, with Simply Miracle, which is infant loss support program, that we've been able to refer our tenants to that have had miscarriages and different things. It's a really cool nonprofit, and I like sharing that with you guys. Having David Johnson, our city's economic development director, talking about some of the things that the city is going on. And then the last, it'll just be discussion about pet friendly versus not pet friendly, some of the statistics. We're going to go over a study that was done in 2021 and some fascinating statistics that we have, and that'll just be a discussion. Some of the concerns we've had, some of the things we do to protect you if you decide to go pet friendly, so that you guys know that you're all taken care of and your unit's protected. And then I've got some funny TikToks that have gone with some of the pet friendly stuff that we have to deal with. So welcome again. I'll go ahead and get started here. As I'm going through, we're just going to kind of go through some of the stuff that we've done and we're experiencing, stuff that we're looking to add over the next year to 18 months, just so that you guys understand what we're doing for you. If there's any questions on any of it, you can ask. Just jump right in. This will be very kind of open discussion. So we're going to share my screen here. Open all the way to the end. Okay, so to start off, these three girls basically run Netgain for me. They're awesome, fantastic. Unless you have questions on your owner statement or proceeds, these three ladies are the ones you're going to want to talk to. Shauna's running the day-to-day for me so that we can focus on the growth, and I can work with you as the owners to make sure you're getting everything that you need with your properties. And she just handles everything. She's the big boss woman, and she's fantastic. Julia facilitates all her student housing and helps take a lot of the burden off of Shauna. She's been with us for a little over a year now. Shauna's been with me for over 3 years. Both are awesome. Cassie's new as of this year. She's been with us 7 months, and she can figure out everything. She's our problem solver. When we have questions, we set it on her desk, and she's able to figure it out. So all three of these, I've had many employees throughout these 9 years, and these three are hands down the best. They have allowed us to be able to handle what's come our way. We're over 625 units that we're currently managing. And as you'll see, it's not just in Iron County anymore. And these three ladies have been able to make that work. There's their contact information that you can reach out if you have any questions. They're going to be able to answer it a lot quicker than I will. And they're awesome. If they can't figure it out, then they can get me involved, and we go from there. But these ladies are your heroes, and they're awesome. So some of the challenges that we've faced over the last year. Right now, there's more inventory on the market than there has been in a long time. So as of January 13th, so I've got for the last year and a half, I need to be more technologically advanced, and I just haven't. So I go through every Monday and Friday, and here's the stack of papers from the last year and a half. That goes through all the management companies in Iron County, how many total units are on the market. And so I can just kind of go from week to week and scroll back. So as of on Monday, there was 150 total units on the market. Last year at this time, there was only 123. So that's a pretty significant increase. And so we're trying to do some things to combat that. There's falling and non-increasing rents basically in all segments. Usually the studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms were always stay solid or still increasing. We've had an influx over the last 2 years of the 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhomes, and those really started to see some rents drop. They've stabilized a little bit, but there's still quite a bit out there. That's the one type of product on the market that there's just tons. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 12 to 1,500 square feet, and that's basically what you get in Cedar City. And you look across the state, that's kind of what you get around the state as well. Properties are sitting on the market longer, especially the older homes. So with more on the market, potential residents are able they just have more choices and options to go through and look at. And so when given the choice, if price is close, the residents are choosing newer as opposed to older, even on some of the updated ones. The major softening in the student housing market, like this year, just kind of caught everyone off guard. On all the stuff that we've had for years, we were able to keep a lot of people. We had a 95% occupancy there, but we hadn't been below 100% for years. Some of the newer ones that we took on that got thrown onto us in May or June, we got those up to 70 or 80% occupancy from pretty close to zero. But usually we've still been able to get those filled, and we have a huge rush end of July, early August, and we just didn't see that this year. There was issues with FAFSA, student loans, but that was a trend that we saw nationwide. I went to a conference where they had 4 of the largest student housing providers talk, and they talked about, the issues that they're running in. And so it made me feel a little bit better that it wasn't just us, which is always comforting. And then at the same time, you're like, oh crap, if everyone's dealing with it, we've got issues to figure out. So we've got the continued economic uncertainty. Even with the election, people still aren't quite sure what to expect or to anticipate. We've lost further renters assistance, so deposit assistance, eviction prevention, funds, and just basic rental assistance. Just there hasn't been as much in our community, and that has caused some issues. With that, we're seeing more incentives start to come in, either rent reductions or discounted rate at move-in, those type of promotions starting to come into the market, and we've just started to see a slow uptick in increase in delinquencies. One other thing that I forgot to throw in here on the slide. So for all of our owners, we will by January 31st have all of your tax info. So the 1099s, year-end reports uploaded to your tenant portal by January 31st. I should be able to get it all done next week. But for sure by January 31st. So if you have any questions on those, once you get them, just reach out and we'll go from there. Everything that you're going to see here with these recent changes that we're implementing, the nice thing is they're all integrated with our main software, which is Appfolio. It's the top software on the market, and it makes mine and my staff's and your guys' the life that much easier because of the data and just the ease of use that we're able to do. So one of the big things that we've done is we've gone to a tenant-led inspection platform. We still do the move-outs and we still do the move-ins, but our annual inspections are led by the tenant. And the reason being is we're able to get more done. We still have a lot of control with the way the format is. So if there's stuff we still need additional pictures on, we're still able to get them. So this is an example of one of the tenant-led, never mind, this is one of the move-out ones. One of the big things I like, see if I can click it up, is the use of video. So sometimes things don't show up as well on pictures. And so we're able to kind of go through via video. This is the format that all it'll have. These will be uploaded to your tenant portal or tenant owner portal once a month. And so you'll have these. It's all PDF. You can click on it and enlarge it. As always, if you have any questions. The nice thing about having tenant-led, so here's a video. And I can do up to 15-second increments. I have to be careful because I can be kind of snarky on what I say, but I can give a better description of what I see, which means we're able to protect your investment in case we, have to go to collections or the tenant try to fight their disposition letter. So that's one of the big things that I love. I love the new format of it. It's pretty idiot-proof. Because we're able to, it's just there. Right on my screen go here. And then this is one of the, we didn't upload the tenant-led one. But the tenant-led ones has the same format and they have to follow step by step. I got to take a picture of the fridge. I've got to take a picture of this. I got to take pictures of filters, all of that. And then that report, when it gets it, we can either approve or ask for additional information. And this has been fantastic. It's really easy to use, and it's made our life easier. Any questions on that software? Okay. So a couple other things that we did that I didn't do a slide for this year, we added an annual owner review. If you haven't taken advantage of that, you can still reach out and I'll gladly do one. We do those towards the end of the year, and it's just an opportunity. We take a half hour, we can go over all your properties, we can look at the market, what we're seeing, if the people look like they may renew or not renew, there's potential for rent increases, if we look at the last inspection and go, is there stuff that we're going to need to do? Is this one due for an update? So that you can plan ahead. We also ask if you're more than welcome to, you can bring your accountant, financial advisor as they're part of the team, and we can just go over everything and tax strategies and all of that. So we did about a third of the owner of you guys this year took advantage of it, and it was great. One of the other things that I did is I actually hired a business coach with some of the things you'll see on the next slide. I've learned where I'm weak at, and I've learned my strengths, and some of the challenges and stuff that we were looking and asked to do. I knew I needed to bring in help. The coach is awesome. It specializes in property management. It also connects me with a network of 150 other property managers across the country. So if you guys have stuff outside of Utah that you would like, that you need to have managed, or you're struggling with your current manager, I have connections and friendships that we're able to connect you to those property managers, so that you're not, to kind of help cut down the search. It's helped us as we deal with challenges that are all the same across the country, be able to brainstorm and find best practices and solutions. Um, and it's been really interesting with a lot of the natural disasters, how across the country, whether hurricanes or fires, and different things that have happened over the past year. It's been huge to be able to have those connections and be able to help each other out and find resources for all sorts of challenges that we're facing. The biggest thing that it did is allow us to be able to put into place the processes and technologies to do this next step. So this year, we made the decision with help of a few others that had asked us to look into it. We have expanded our service area. So before we were pretty much just in Iron Beaver counties, but we've now expanded into Washington and Salt Lake and Utah counties as of January 1st. We have properties in all those counties. We are able to service. We have the connections with the vendors to be able to service them. It was a huge challenge figuring out logistically, hence why I brought in the coach. It's something I'd been working on since April to make sure that we do it right, because the last thing I want to do is suck at what I do. And it's not fair to owners to do something and just say, hey, I can take this, and not feel like I can give them the first class service that they deserve. So right now, those are the counties that we're in. Depending on the opportunities that you're looking at, we are open to other counties. And I know we've had some of those discussions already with some of you. Some of the big reasons that we expanded: one, we were asked, and they were large enough projects that I had to sit down and listen. Some of these owners, I told them no for years. And so we finally sat down and listened. And so you guys are our priority. And so if there's things that you're facing, I'm always willing to listen and see if there's a way that we can help out. Two, this expansion actually allows us to better serve your needs. Many of you are struggling because you have 4 different property managers for different areas. This allows us to be able to keep it and do it just one, just have one contact to be able to facilitate everything. So that's part of the reason. And then it gives many of you guys the opportunity to look and go where the deals are. And so if there's deals elsewhere in Utah that you want to look at, and we're able to help facilitate that. So those have been huge and big for us. It's been fun. It's been a challenge. Been able to meet a whole lot of cool vendors and different things, and been able to have a lot of cool different connections with that. The other thing that we've done is we've actually started to switch and upgrade our pictures. So all of our pictures are done by a professional photographer. We use on-site imagery here in Southern Utah. We've got another company up north that we're going to be using. So the pictures have gotten better, and then we actually, he uses Matterport. So we are able to give them a virtual tour so they can walk through the property. The other thing I like about this, one of the top questions we get is, what are the measurements of the room? So with a click of a button, they can see the measurements of the room. And it has helped cut down on the amount of showings that we've had to do, because they can walk through the property themselves. They're able to get the measurements to help make things more efficient for us. We've got upcoming changes coming up. Before we go through there, I know some of you are still looking to potentially to buy. If you're looking at that and you haven't let us know, give us a heads up. We're always looking online and looking for what good deals are. We've been able to make connections with other agents and wholesalers. So we do get some stuff that a lot of stuff that'll come off the market that you can take a look at and go from there. And we can see. Obviously, or admittedly, some of the deals are not as good as others. But if that's something you're looking for, you can let us know and let us know your budget, and we can get things figured out. Any questions on any of that? Okay. So two big things that are coming on. We're finalizing the process to switch from Hunter Warfield that's facilitated all our collections to go to Pay Ready. Pay Ready, the two big differences that they do. One, they're able to take over the collections process from right at the disposition letter. So they help facilitate all the contacts to the client, the past resident, to make sure that there's payment made right when that disposition is sent, and they basically take over as our accounting department on that from the get go. The other thing is they basically work with some of the top 10 collections companies in the country, and so they anticipate an increasing our collection, getting it from about the 12 to 15% that we've been getting up to about 20 to 25%. So that's more money back into your hands, which is why we were looking to make that change. The other thing that within the next year to 18 months, I'm just in conversations with a few different companies, is we're actually going to transition all of your door locks to digital locks within the next year to 18 months. Some of the reasons we're going to look to do that, our number one after hours emergency call is for lockouts. And so it's less cost to us. It's less burden on the tenant. We've all been there. And so with the keypad, you don't have to worry about that as much. It'll also make it easier to facilitate showings, move in and move outs, and then the unit turns and maintenance. Some of the things that you guys have all kind of got accustomed to over the last few years that we're going to do, that we're going to continue to go through. One, we've had great success where we increased our deposits from one to match the rent to 1.5 times the rent. So once again, if the rent is $1,000, our deposit's $1,500 to make that easier on the tenants to take on. We've had great success with Obligo and LeaseGuard, which is security deposit alternatives. LeaseGuard is an insurance product that's a monthly payment that they do for as long as they live there. It's all non-refundable, and it's been great. No issues with claims on it or anything. It's been great for the last 15 months we've been using it. Obligo we've been using for about 1.5 years. That works basically. So if the deposit's $1,500, they pay $150 a year to Obligo, and then we pull however much the deposit we take. So if it's about, we take $1,300 for repairs and cleaning and carpet cleaning, then we just take $1,300 out of their account. It makes it easier for the tenants to be able to get into the units with these different options, and it hasn't impacted you guys as owners because you've got greater protection than what you were getting, and you get paid out. The other thing that we focus really on is continued education for me and the girls. So we go to about 3 conferences every year. I go to the big one every year for the National Apartment Association, Apartmentalize. There I'm able to talk to 500. Well, I don't talk to them all. But there's 500 different vendors. So I'm always able to stay up to date on what the trends are, what we're seeing in multifamily, single family, all of that, so that I can keep up with what we need to do to be able to service your properties and keep them filled and keep tenants happy. The other big one that I go to is the Appfolio conference every year. That keeps us up to date on our software, any updates they have. So once again, we are using that to the most capability that we have. We are continuing to use Showmojo. Here over this next year, you're going to see, now that I've been at it for a year, I'm going to be able to start doing year over year data on not how long stuff's staying on the market, average rents, difference in rents between pet friendly versus not pet friendly, and be able to compare and start seeing trends. It's something I'm really excited for. I've been antsy all year. This schedules all of our showings for us. It does so many cool things. It is like the cheapest software that I've invested in, and it's like the best bang for the buck. Um, it's also the only software that under promised and over delivered. There's an aspect that's my favorite part. They have a drip system, so anytime we put a property on the market, anyone who's expressed an interest in anything similar gets an email. Hey, this is new on the market. And so we've been able to fill units as that's come through. And it's always kind of funny because they're like, oh, you're the only property management company that actually emails me when new stuff comes on the market. The other thing is, so if we have to do a rent decrease on a property, those same people get notified. When a unit comes off the market, they get an email, and then it has a link to other similar units. Like, hey, I know this one came off the market, but here's a link to all our other units that are similar. So we're able to help fill stuff that way. If they haven't scheduled a showing, if they've expressed an interest in it, they get follow-up emails. And then the other thing that I've done is you're able to send out to those people that have expressed interest an email 10 months later. So as they're coming near their current lease, if they didn't rent from us for whatever reason, they'll get an email of what we currently have on the market, to hopefully, if there's something better, to entice them to move into one of our units as opposed to what they currently have. The other thing, and I do it on selected units, is it allows for self-directed showings. So instead of working within our hours, they've got this little lockbox. There's a lot of security with it, so we know who's in there and how long they were in there. So if there's any issues, we know who to go back on. But they can schedule their own showings on some of our units. The other thing that I like, so when you have a unit on the market, you get a email once a week saying how many leads you've had, how many showings. If there's feedback that's been given, you get copies of that feedback. We're continuing with Property Meld. It's the hands down the best maintenance software on the market. I'm going to switch here. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is our current numbers. So we average about 200 work orders a month. This is a slow month for us. These are all the vendors that we've used, how many have been assigned. Average day of repair, 2.9 days. Our tenant satisfaction over the last 30 days has been 5 out of 5. All the tenants get a survey at the end. All-time tenant satisfaction. So in the 2 years we've used this, 4.5 out of 5. All our vendors are rated by our tenants, so we know who's doing well and who isn't. And then average day of completion. So we know if a vendor is wanting more business from us, we can compare them to other similar vendors and be like, we'd love to use you, but you're rated a 4. This guy's rated a 4.5, and you're taking twice as long to get stuff. Who do we send, stuff to? They also recently announced yesterday that they bought Mezzo, which is another AI compatible maintenance software. We're going to be doing a demo next week to see the impact on that. But the big thing is it'll have a lot more artificial AI technology to help with troubleshooting, which hopefully minimizes the amount of times we have to send people and vendors out to your property. Last big thing is I'm still continuing with Balance Asset Solutions. They are a national accounting firm that specializes in property management. I'm going in my 3rd year with them. They're great. They've been able to connect me with plenty of other people. They're good. They know all the higher ups like Appfolio. So if we're struggling with a question with Appfolio, we're able to get answers. if there's things we can't figure out, we're able to get answers. They help make sure our books are solid and all your statements are accurate and all of that. So that's everything that we've looked at to add, all the changes, things that we're still doing. That's a lot. I understand. Do you have any questions or concerns about anything Netgain related? We've got about 5 or so minutes before we go into the next. Forgot to put that on do not disturb. But any questions, concerns on anything went over or anything else that you want to bring up?